Robocraft, a game about blowing up blocky robots with your very own custom-designed blocky robot. Kind of like that old show BattleBots, only like a lot more interesting and a lot less watching two wedges slam into each other. But today I shall bring you my rise to the top, for the designs of Robocraft allow for a ridiculous amount of freedom, and I shall construct the greatest robot that has ever been seen. I present to you the Mach 1 Speed Buggy, a quick and efficient vehicle designed for... Oh no. Robocraft mixes design elements from Minecraft's creative mode and weird vehicle battle games to create sort of a deathmatch multiplayer experience where you use customized cars to blow each other up. Or planes, or hovercrafts, or whatever the fuck that is. The gameplay generally varies a good bit based on the vehicle you design. Designing a slow-moving behemoth tank might be a little bit different from designing a fast little gyrocopter. Nice thing is, you've got the ability to design basically whatever you want. The game gives you a ridiculous amount of freedom, from weird walking death machines, to rumbling doom tanks, to flying bombers, to all sorts of cool stuff. There's a lot of adaptability here in how you design your vehicle for destruction. You have to purchase blocks for the vehicle through the little in-game store, but you get a fairly good amount of resources through playing even the single-player training modes that gives you the access to most of the things you might need. This isn't as true at higher levels, where blocks become incredibly expensive, where even basic armor blocks can be 19,000 points, but at the bright side, you're earning more through the game's various modes at that level anyway, so you should balance out. The Mark 1 might have been a failure, but it's time for the heavily armored Mark 2! With more advanced weapons and protections! Nobody shall stop the Mark... So it's a fun, creative little blow-em-up, shoot-em-up tank robot game. It's not bad, but I do have a couple of beefs with it. Number one is in how it matches players, and number two is with the free-to-play system. So up until fairly recently, Robocraft had a tier system for matching players together. Players within the same tier would play with each other, and your tier was based on the rank of your vehicle. Vehicle ranks were doled out based on what blocks you put into it, each block having a number. Now it just matches you based on your rank, instead of having a tier that you exist in. This means that you can have matches that are much more far-flung than the previous tier system would allow. For example, in the previous tier system, Tier 3 was considered between 1,400 and 4,000 power, but now without that system, if there's nobody within that range, you might get matched with somebody with 17,000 rank and get just fucking obliterated. This has been something that's been really hated on by the community, because there has been a lot of trouble with matchmaking as of late, since the removal of this tier system. So my second big issue is in the amount of grind that you need to do in order to acquire higher level blocks in order to have the best gear. Now, as I mentioned an example earlier about armor blocks, jumping from about 8 points at the basic levels to 19,000 points at the top level. Now, based on what I've been reading, you can generally expect about 50,000 points per game at max level. That's a lot. It means you can buy 2 to 3 of those blocks, depending on a number of factors, but consider that the wedge vehicle that I had at the end of this video has almost 150 armor blocks on it. That is going to be a shit ton of games. At the least, about 300. That's a lot of games you have to play just to armor it out. That doesn't include any weapons or any tools, anything like that you would also have to pay into at that top level. So it can be extremely grindy at endgame, because you wind up having to do hundreds of matches if you want to build something cool. Now, there is premium that alleviates this by doubling your RP income, but it's something you pay into, so free players kind of get shafted. I understand that you have to work towards something as a free player, but I think that hundreds of games in order to armor out your vehicle is a little bit excessive. All in all, Robocraft is a fun little diversion. Being able to build your own tanks and go around and blow stuff up is pretty great. If you get hardcore into the competitive scene and getting to top tiers, you can start to see a lot of really tough restrictions, but all in all, it's not a bad game to play. The gameplay is generally fun, it's nice and quick, it's easy, it's simplistic, and it allows for a lot of interesting creative expression. But that's about it. It's not a bad game. Give it a try. Just, if you're getting hardcore into it, be careful about the microtransactions, and be careful about the matchmaking. But thanks for watching, and you all, have a great one. The Mark 1 was a failure. The Mark 2 was a failure. It is time for my ultimate weapon. The most powerful tool a BattleBot can ever utilize. It is time for me to release the wedge. Feel the wrath of an inclined plane, you pathetic monsters! Feel the wrath of my submachine guns on top of a block of armor! You cannot stop me now! You cannot... fuck, not again! Why, hello there. Thank you for checking out this Orange Hatter video on Robocraft. It was pretty fun to make. If you enjoyed this video, please support my channel by liking or subscribing. Makes a lot. It's awesome. It's super awesome. Also, if you have something to say, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. You guys are always fun to talk to. I have met a lot of really cool people through this channel, and I would love to meet more of you guys. But, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you have a great one. Looks like you got one of your legs blown off, buddy. Don't worry, I'm the same here. I lost both my treads on the right side, so I can't really drive around either. Looks like it's just you and me against the world, buddy. You're just gonna stand on me? You're just leaving? Okay, have fun, one-legged weird machine.